So this new confidence of being able to roam around was also when I start to see the shadow figures more frequently. I would look and see things move around, the shadow figures that is, not like actual objects. So I'd be like in the kitchen, washing my dishes, minding my own business, and I just see stuff constantly, and I'm like, am I going crazy? Because it'd just be like the corner of my eyes, and I was like, maybe I got floaters or something, I don't know. But I would see it all the time, and it would only be at this apartment complex. And then this happened frequently, and I had also seen the movie Hereditary about a month or two before. So I was like, yeah, that movie kind of freaked me out, and then the fact I'm alone, it didn't help.
Wondering if there's just people in the shadows waiting to...
And I was thinking of that little girl when she's in her brother's room in the corner, and then the basketball falls out. Yeah. So that movie, like,
nice
really...
and spooked.
Yeah, it really lingered on my mind. So the freedom had started to become more frightening than just anxiety. But this other little thing I'm gonna mention, it isn't quite paranormal, but I thought I'd, like, share for the spook factor. One of the nights I had the apartment all to myself. So this is when all my roommates were moved out and the apartment was completely empty, and there was a huge, like, massive rainstorm that happened ironically at 3 a.m. And it was like super huge, just really heavy rain, just nonstop for hours. And there was thundering and lightning, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this.
And you're all by yourself.
Yes. And this apartment was kind of huge because it's like 4 people to one complex, I guess, and it's like 3 rooms upstairs, and you got downstairs another room, and then you got like a living room and kitchen. And so I was like, I can't do this. And I said it wouldn't have been so bad if I had roommates at this time, but for whatever reason I was so scared and paranoid. So to ease my mind, I grabbed my laptop, put on Netflix, and watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin. This storm was rough. Like I mentioned before, it was pouring rain and constant thunder and lightning. I just kept imagining that I really wasn't alone, and someone was either... What did I write? Was either, hiding somewhere in the apartment, or someone was going to show up. So fast forward, Donnie moves to Huntsville with me.
Couldn't take it no more.
We move out of the apartment complex we move out of the apartment complex to move into a different one that is closer to campus, but also older.
She was hiding me in the other apartment complex.
The one that I was seeing the shadow figures. He started working at the prison, so instead of driving from Brenham to Huntsville, he illegally stayed in my room.
Oh, so did you work at the prison just to be closer?
Well, he needed a job.
Yeah,
regardless,
I was like out of a job for 3 months when I left the pipeline, and I was desperate, and they were the only place that called me back, so...
And then, so...
Yeah, they're in the older apartment building now.
Yep, the older one. I think they said it was like in the 70s was when they built it. And then during this time, I had made some new friends, and I would hang out at their apartment frequently. But guess where their apartment complex was located? Yep, the one I moved out of. Different apartment, but same complex. So this is where I left off my notes, so I'm just going to wing it. So my friends, I would tell them, I'm like, hey, when I was living at this apartment complex, I would see shadow figures all the time. And they're like, no, I do too. Like, we see that all the time here as well. And I was like, really? So I'm not going crazy. And then they start sharing, like, really frightening stuff that they were experiencing. Fortunately, I didn't. But they said they would hear screams at like 3 a.m. They heard someone just running up the stairs when they're completely alone. And then I remember one night I was speaking to one of the roommates, and I was sitting on like a chair facing the kitchen, and her back was facing the kitchen. And it was probably between midnight and 3 a.m. And I see something like a shadow figure, but this time it wasn't more of the corner of my eye. It was like I actually saw something like move, and I told her, I'm like, hey, there was something that just moved. And she's like, Erin, shut up. Please stop. And then I was like, yeah, I saw something. She's like, I swear recently, like, the faucet, the sink came on by itself, like not long before I had said I saw that. And I was like, well, it's hanging out in the kitchen, look at this. And then I
At
ended
least
up
it's in a
leaving.
designated area.
Yeah. So then I ended up leaving, and then some other nights. It was kind of near Halloween, but wasn't quite Halloween. And I was over at this apartment complex again. And we're like, hey, let's do something spooky. It's midnight. So we were like, let's go to Demon Road. So then we're like, okay, yeah. And we're driving. We get to this cemetery that's on Demon Road. Martha Chapel Cemetery. We'll probably get into that later too, maybe. And we pull up. Donnie was with us. And all of a sudden, as we're pulling up, we're like, yeah, this is going to be spooky. We see a truck parked there with no lights on, and we're like, dang it. Like, well, that sucks. We're not going to go out. We don't know these people. So then we're leaving, and then there's no fog anywhere, and then all of a sudden, we hit this one pocket of just fog. And it kind of lasts a little ways. We're like, well, that's really scary. It's a full moon, and we're on Demon Road.
Some fog comes out of nowhere.
Also, this road official name isn't Demon Road, it's Bowden Road, but it's like a nickname they given because of all the creepy stuff they see there. And then, I guess my last little story I will include is when Donnie and I were at our new apartment. We were unloading groceries, and we both hear a voice like in our apartment, like near our kitchen table, and I don't really know what it said, but it kind of sounded like my name. I don't know. I'm just like, it said my name. Like, that's scary. And then as soon as we hear it, I like dash behind Donnie, and I'm like, did you hear that? And he said, yeah, I heard it. And then he said he heard it again, but you said you don't remember hearing it again.
And you heard it say Erin?
I don't.
Or you just heard like a whispering?
I mean,
It was
I
like a
don't
voice
remember.
in the
Voice.
apartment, like someone was in it.
That's creepy either
I
way.
kind of remember it, but I kind of don't.
Dang it, Donnie, you
I
gotta
was
go.
drinking a lot of the time.
Digging that memory.
I remember it vividly because it really spooked me, and then ever since then, I was like, I can't be in this apartment without sound. So in our bedroom, we had a TV, and whenever I would wake up and want to leave, I would have to leave that TV on, go to the living room to turn that TV on, go back to the bedroom to turn the TV off in the bedroom. I'm like, I'm not being here in silence. There's no way.
But we've also.
Everything